Okay, good morning. Happy Lag Baimer. We'll learn a little bit of Gemara, starting chapter 7, which is chapter 7 can be found on primarily page 68 on the Gemara, 67b in the bottom. Start from the bottom from the Mishnah. This chapter will list all the melachos that are prohibited on the Shabbos. Before starting, the Mishnah will explain the liability incurred for violating them inadvertently, and obviously shegig inadvertently, and also b'mezid. But even when it comes to mezid, even if it's intentional, the court would only impose the penalty if it was done in the presence of two witnesses, and after obviously the perpetrator was warned by the witnesses of the transgression and its consequences. If these conditions are not met, the matter no longer falls under the jurisdiction of the court, but is subject to divine punishment known as kars. Shogeg, violation of shogeg on Shabbos usually leads to chatas offering. That's the way to atone for it. And we'll see what we're going to deal with the words like yediah, awareness, haloma, which is lapse of awareness, shigigas Shabbos, inadvertence with regard to the Shabbos, shigas melacha, either shogeg that you don't know it's Shabbos today, or you don't know that it's forbidden on Shabbos. You know that you're doing melacha, you know that you're doing work, labor, but you don't know that it's forbidden on Shabbos, or that you know it's forbidden but you don't know that it's Shabbos, or you know that it's Shabbos but you don't know that it's a melacha, what you're doing. You don't know that it's considered labor. Like someone that was served with rice and peas and he separates the peas on the plate, he doesn't know that he's doing a melacha of sorting. He knows it's Shabbos, he knows he's sitting for Shabbos meal, but he doesn't know that he's not supposed to separate and make a pile of bones on the plate and put the piece to one side and rice on the other side. So we're going to see shigig as Shabbos and shigig as melacha. Shigig and mezid, and obviously inadvertent and deliberate. So klal godel lamu b'Shabbos, they made a major rule on Shabbos. Kol ha'sheichach ikar Shabbos. Somebody forgot that it's Shabbos. We will soon see what does it mean to forget the essence of Shabbos. Rashi tells us he doesn't think that Shabbos is a biblical mitzvah. According to Rashi, kasovu ein Shabbos b'teiro. Anyway, we also melachos arba. He made a lot of melachos. B'Shabbosos arba. In many Shabbos, he did work. Ein l'chav l'chatas hachas. He has to bring one chatas for all the Shabbos that he did, all the melachos that he did. Now you know, if someone knows that Shabbos is a biblical mitzvah, he knows Shabbos b'teiro, he knows Shabbos and there's the prohibition of doing melachos. Also melachos harbe, b'Shabbos harbe. Did a lot of melachos in many Shabbos. Chayav al kol Shabbos v'Shabbos. He has to, is obligated to pay or to bring korban chatos for every Shabbos. If he knows that Shabbos and he did a lot of melachos, b'Shabbos arba, in many Shabbos, chayav al kolav melacha. Is liable for all the av melacha. The primary melacha is obligated to bring a separate chatos for each of the 39 categories of melacha that he violated. So the first case was not the first case. The second case, he says he knows it's Shabbos. Ve'oso melachos harbe b'Shabbos harbe. So one who knows the essence of Shabbos and inadvertently performed many melachos, he is liable to bring one chatos for each Shabbos. Now, if he knows it's Shabbos Adeshu Shabbos, and inadvertently performed many melachos on many Shabbos, is liable for each and every av melacha that he performed. We soon have to see what's the difference between this case and the second case. If one performs many melachos of one category of melacha, so he has to bring one chatas. My time, Tana Klal Godel. What does it mean, Klal Godel? Major rule. Maybe he wants to mention another klal, another rule. Tana Klal Godel, to say that this is a major rule in comparison to the other one. Gabi Shvis Nami, regarding Shvis as well, they said this statement, Klal Godel. Regarding Shvis Nami, as regarding to Shvis as well, Mishum de Kaboyle Misne Oid Klal Acher. Tana wanted to mention another less complex rule in the next Mishnah. Tana Klal Godel, so he taught the first one as a major rule. Vo Gabi Meiser the Gitani Klal Acher. Leutnain Klal Godel. In Meiser it says Klal Acher, not Klal Godel. Amar Yesi Barovin. Shabbos and Shvis, in regard to Shabbos and Shvis, the Isbu always we sold this Tana Godel. In Shvis it says always and told this, it mentions Klal Godel, Tana Godel, because it mentions the always is the primary work, and then he mentioned told this, it's the derivatives, secondary, when it comes to the stringency of the malacha. Ma'aser the Leis obviously told us in Ma'aser you don't have the primary and the toldis and the secondary. So he didn't mention this expression, major rule. And according to Bar Kapara, that Tony Klal Godel Ma'aser, who taught in his Baisa the rule regarding Ma'aser with the words a major rule. My obvious, my toldis hiko. What obvious and toldis are there in regard to Ma'aser law? Rather, this is not the reason. The punishment of pertaining to Shabbos is greater than the punishment pertaining to Shvis. Shabbos law of Shabbos applies both, whether it's something is detached from the ground or attached produce. Shvis, the Shvis law does not apply to detached produce. It applies only to produce still attached at the beginning of the Shvis year, the sabbatical year. If the produce are attached, there is a prohibition to work them, to deal with them, take them for yourself only. Comes to Shabbos, the law applies both, whether it's attached or detached. But the punishment pertaining to Shvis is greater than the punishment pertaining to Ma'aser. Shvis is prohibited for both human food and animal food. Ma'aser applies only to human food, does not apply to animal food. Tana therefore refers to the rule of Shvis also as a major rule, because you have how human, it applies both to human and to animal. Bar Kapara is on Klal Godel in Ma'aser, but what is Bar Kapara is going to say? Why did he mention Klal Godel in Ma'aser? Because Ma'aser has a greater punishment pertaining to it than Peah. Peah is living in the corner of the field. For Ma'aser, obligation applies to figs and vegetables, fruits and vegetables. Peah is only in vegetables, not in figs. Made the rule, the rabbi stated a rule concerning Peah, kol shu eichel, anything that is food, v'nishma, and is protected, v'gidulei min ha'oretz, whose growth is from the ground, ulla kitose ka'achas, which is gathered all as one, machnisu l'qiyum, and which one brings it to last, chayav peah. So I guess preserving it. Mechnisa lekiyum brings it to last. Chayav peah is obligated in peah to leave the corner of the field. Mishnah states that it must be food. It means to exclude the aftergrowth of wood and mudder. And when it says protected, it means to exclude ownerless crops. And when it says that it's growth from the ground, it means to exclude truffles and mushrooms, because they grow on their own. When it says that it is gathered all as one, it means to exclude a fig crop. When it says that one brings it to last, the kiyum, it means to exclude vegetables. However, concerning meiser, we'll learn the stated rule concerning meiser kolshu, anything that is a food, v'nishma is protected, v'gidlum in oretz, whose growth is from the ground. Chayv meiser is obligated meiser, whereas the requirement that it be gathered as one, and that one bring it in to last, are not taught in regard to meiser, making it evident that these criteria do not apply to meiser. Figs and vegetables are subject to the meiser obligation, since most species of crops are subject to meiser than are subject to peah. The Tana, according to the version of Bar Kapara, called his rule about meiser major rule. The Gemara now analyzes the first ruling of our Mishnah, which stated that a person who did not know the essence of the Shabbos is liable to only one chatas for his violations of numerous melochos over many Shabboses. They were speaking about, our Mishnah is dealing with a case of a child who was captured and raised among the Gentiles. Or a convert who converted and lived among Gentiles. Such a person never knew about the Shabbos. He is liable to only one chatas for all his violation of Ali. But if he recognized the Shabbos and eventually forgot it, chayav kol Shabbos for Shabbos, then he is liable for each and every Shabbos that he desecrated. Tenan Ashechach kol Shabbos, one who forgets the essence of Shabbos, lav miklal da'avil idea mikoro. This wording not imply that he originally had knowledge of the Shabbos. Gemara says, "Loi, mai kol Ashechach kol Shabbos." What does it mean? Anyone who forgets the essence of the Shabbos? It means that the essence of the Shabbos was forgotten from him from the very beginning, that he never knew it. But if he recognized and eventually forgot, kol Shabbos for Shabbos, he is liable for each and every Shabbos. Then, instead of the Mishnah teaching the second case, Yedea Ikar Shabbos, one who knows the essence of the Shabbos, also Melachas Arbe Shabbos Arbe, and yet inadvertently performed many Melachas of many Shabbos. Chaval Kol Shabbos v'Shabbos is liable to a separate chatos for each and every Shabbos. But the Mishnah says, so the Gemara says, why doesn't the Mishnah say it differently? Lisnei Ikir, or say Shochach, just say you should, that one recognized the essence of Shabbos and eventually forgot it. And so he's liable for every Shabbos he desecrated, to bring one korban chatos for every Shabbos. Chol shekin ho, and we should conclude on our own, one is certainly liable for every Shabbos. In this case, even now, he knows the essence of the Shabbos, but forgot the Shabbos day. The Gemara says, Maya Yedea Ikar Shabbos. What does the Mishnah mean when it says one who knows the essence of Shabbos? One who knows, once knew the essence of the Shabbos and then forgot it. It does not mean that the person knew about the essence of the Shabbos when he committed the violation. Avalo ishchacho mai. But if he never forgot, what's the law? But if he did not forget the essence of the Shabbos, but rather forgot that the day was the Shabbos day. He knows Shabbos is Shabbos. He knows the melachos are forbidden on Shabbos, but he forgot that today is Shabbos. The day that he was doing all the melachos is Shabbos. Chava kol melacha, he has to pay chatos for every melacha that he performed. Adesonia dashu Shabbos. Now, from the fact that you said he knows it's Shabbos, but forgot which labors are forbidden. Also melachos b'Shabbos asarbe. He performed many melachos and many Shabboses. Chayo v'alkol melacha is liable for every melacha. Lisnei udeikar Shabbos v'chol shekenho. Why does the Mishnah say it such a way? Let the Mishnah teach the one who knows the essence of the Shabbos but forgot it was Shabbos, is liable for each av melacha performed. And we would know on our own that he is certainly liable for every melacha in this case. In the case where he knew it was Shabbos day, forgot the melachas. Rather, our Mishnah speaks in its first ruling, one who forgot the essence of the Shabbos. It is dealing with a case of one who recognized, or one who once recognized the essence of the Shabbos and eventually forgot it. However, the case of Rabbi Shmuel, the case of one who never knew the Shabbos law, is also treated like a case of one who recognized the essence of the Shabbos and eventually forgot it. And this is what was actually stated in their name. Rabbi Shmuel both said, even a child who was captured and raised among Gentiles, or a convert, the Gershon is convert, converted and lived among Gentiles, who never knew about Shabbos. It is like one who recognized the Shabbos and eventually forgot it, and he is therefore liable to a single chatas for his Shabbos desecration. Only for one who recognized the essence of Shabbos and eventually forgot it. But a child who was captured and raised among Gentiles, or converted and lived among Gentiles, Potu is exempt from any chatos whatsoever. Major rule was said of regarding Shabbos. Whoever, anyone who forgets the essence of the Shabbos, performed many melachos and many Shabbos, is liable to bat one chatos. If a child was captured and raised among Gentiles, or a convert converted and lived among Gentiles, never learned the law of the Shabbos, and he performed many melachos and many Shabbos, he is liable to bat one chatos for all his Shabbos violations, and such person is liable to one chatos for all the times he consumed blood, and to one for all the times he consumed chaylev, and one chatos for all the times he was guilty of idolatry. But Munbaz exempt him from his chatos obligation. Thus did Munbaz argue before Rabbi Akiva. According to Munbaz, a person who never knew of a certain law is not obligated to bring a chatos for violating it. Since a deliberate transgression is called by the Torah a sinner, and inadvertent transgression is also called by the Torah choite. Just as the deliberate transgressor, of whom Torah speaks, had knowledge of the prohibition, he transgressed, so too the inadvertent transgressor of whom the Torah speaks is one who once had knowledge of the prohibition he transgressed. He once had knowledge. I will add to your words, extend your argument, and thereby demonstrate its invalidity. Just as the deliberate transgressor had knowledge of the prohibition at the time of the prohibited act, transgressor had some knowledge of the prohibition at the time of the act. Yes, and you have certainly added to my words. According to you, someone who knew and forgot is not considered, is not called shegeg lamezid, but a deliberate transgressor, a transgressor. So the Gemara now explains its challenge to Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish from this Baisa. At any rate, a Baisa taught how so a child captured and raised among the Gentiles is liable to but one chatas. According to Rabbi Shmuel, all is well. Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Shimon, and Lakish Kasha. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Shimon, this is difficult since they exempt such a person from any chatas obligation. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish loy mi kamun bas de potar ananda amrinan kamun bas. Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish would tell you, is there not munbas who exempt such a person? We stated our ruling in accordance with munbas. We follow munbas' view and hold that the anonymous ruling of our Mishnah reflects the view of munbas and not the rabbis. My time on the munbas, what is the reason of munbas? There shall be a single law for you, for one who acts with inadvertence. And next to it it's written, person who shall act high-handedly, I guess doing it purposely, high-handedly. 21, the verse speaks of one who knowingly commits idolatry, and after he dies to be adoma, thereby compares the inadvertent transgressor to a deliberate transgressor. Just as the deliberate transgressor had knowledge of the prohibition of shegig, so to the inadvertent transgressor whom the Torah speaks is one who had knowledge of the prohibition. And what do they do? What do they do with the pasuk, the rabbis, a single law, and the analogy implied by it? What do the rabbis who disagree with munbas derive from that hekesh? They need it for that which was taught by Rabbi Menashe Amitay in a scriptural lesson to his son. Should be a single law for you for one who acts inadvertently. And it is written earlier in that passage, and when you will err, and you will not do all of these commandments, which makes it clear that that this scripture section refers to idolatry. Person who will act high-handedly will be cut off. From the juxtaposition of these psukim, we learn that all the Torah's commandments are compared to idolatry with respect to chatas liability. Just as they were in the case of idolatry. The pasuk speaks of something for which one is liable to chorus for its deliberate violation, and a chatus for its inadvertent violation. So too, in regard to everything else, all other Torah laws, the law is that for something for which one is liable to chatus for its deliberate violation, one is liable to a chatus for its inadvertent violation. So we'll continue, God willing, tomorrow.